if Nautilus can exist, Yordles can exist.
Wait, what is Nautilus?
He's just a man.
He's a tall Yordle.
Wait, what?
Nautilus is a thick Yordle.
Very.
Normal people are tall Yordles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Runeterrable Radio, episode number 20. Don't ask what we were talking about. Before the show, just
The pre-show is a disaster.
you got to show up live on Wednesdays at 8 Eastern at twitch.tv/Blevins. I am your host, Blevins. With me, as always, is Saucy Mailman. What's up, buddy?
Hey.
And joining us today is the man, the myth, the legend, I would say the madman, who did a 29-hour stream and climbed from unranked to masters on EU. Welcome to the show, Mo. What's up?
Hey.
How's it going, Mo?
It's all right.
Could be better.
I mean, I did a 15... Casanova and I did a 15-hour tournament cast 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to die. You did basically 2 of those consecutively.
Yeah, so it wasn't actually an accident. I planned to only go 24 hours, and I was like, oh, I can get unranked to masters in 24 hours. That's nothing. I was like, I've done it in Magic. I've done it. Yeah, I was like, that's nothing. Then I started. The first couple of ranks went fine. But then once you get to like platinum, it's static game. So you gain 20, you lose 20.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I probably won't get there in 24 hours, but I was like, I'll just play until I get there. And the next thing you know, I'm like lost track of time, kind of delusional. And I was like, I think I've been live for like 27 hours. I was like, all right, this seems probably like we got there. That's good, 27 hours. I go to sleep, wake up like 5 hours later, by the way. I did not sleep as long as I thought I would sleep. And I look at my Twitch summary and it's like, yeah, you were live for 29 and a half hours. And I was like, oh.
Wow.
I was like, okay.
Well,
I was like,
you got there.
Yeah.
Did get there.
At the end of the day, no one can take that away from you. And
I guess technically you could.
Yeah, it was not worth it.
I mean, yeah, that's true. They could definitely take away your rank, but they can't take away the fact that you did. Masters is only the second highest rank now.
Your stream was for nothing, loser.
I'm Arthur S. Riot III, the CEO and co-founder of Riot. I don't know why I made up this character. Yes, of course, Arthur S. Riot III, the heir to the Riot fortune. I don't know why I made that up, but before we get too wildly off track, which we already have, but we'll get back a little bit on track. Bo, tell us a little bit about your gaming background. You mentioned Magic the Gathering already and some other games. Tell us where you come from, what brings you to Runeterra.
Well, my earliest, memory is just playing League. I bought a computer when I was probably like 15. And I found League on accident because my cousin posted a screenshot of the end screen. But he didn't say anything about it. He was just like, my creep score, though, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to be the annoying, like, little cousin of being like, hey, let me play this game with you, big cousin. So I literally had to Google creep score, video game, cool animations to try and find League of Legends. And then I played that. And then that's about all I played up until I started playing Magic in early 2016, late 2015.
Nice.
And then, I just played Magic ever since then. Played Magic competitively, like for a living in college, and and then I just played Runeterra when it came out because I like League and I like card games. So
seems like a good like if you mix the two,
yes,
you get Legends of Runeterra.
I like League. I like card games. How about the
very
League?
simple. I haven't tried too many other. Like I play random games every now and then, but for the most part, I've played League since like season 3, and then I just started playing Magic in 2016 and just slowly transitioned one game at a time.
Nice.
Very cool, very cool. So let's talk a little bit about that climb from unranked to masters, because again, that's absolutely insane. What decks were you playing mostly on that climb?
For the most part, I played. So I was actually gonna do all of it with Karma Ezreal because people know me as like the Karma Ezreal guy. I got to like rank 2 with Karma Ezreal, and I put out a guide on Karma Ezreal. People always ask me, like competitive players will ask me, how do I beat this deck? People want to scrim against Karma Ezreal. They usually ask me in the Masters Discord if like how to play against Karma Ezreal, stuff like that. So my plan was just to do that, and then I realized if I was going to play Karma Ezreal for 30 hours straight, I'd actually just want to jump off a cliff. So
Yeah.
this was a completely free to play account. I played it for about a week and got all of the cards for Karma Ezreal and about all of the cards for Bannerman because I didn't want to spend money on an EU account that I was probably never going to play again. Or play very slowly. So I played some Bannerman, and then a viewer was like, "Hey, can you play this like Draven Burn deck?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't have the cards for it really, and I don't want to buy them." And he goes, "No problem. Here's $10. Go buy the Dravens you need." So he just donated money, and then I was like, "Okay,
yeah,
I was like, I guess I'll play this." So then I played Draven Burn for about 80% of the climb, and then Ezreal Karma for the other 20%.
Nice.
But I feel really comfortable. The Draven Burn deck is actually the most played deck on my main account. I think I have 33% more games with that deck than my second most played deck, so I felt really comfortable with it.
Nice.
Yeah.
And plus, it was like gold players, so you have to go by really fast.
Yeah.
Well, plus you can just like win games out of nowhere.
Yeah. Win games out of nowhere, and they're all fast. You play like twice as many games as with Ezreal Karma.
Yeah. That is extremely true. So you mentioned you played mostly Magic, and there's obviously a lot of crossover between Magic and Runeterra. But how does LOR stack up to a game like Magic or other games that you've played?
Oh, I think LOR is probably the best card game I've ever played. I've played Magic, and then I played Pokemon for like a week. I went to an international. But this is probably the best card game as far as like mechanics go and gameplay goes and how it feels. It's just the problem is you just don't have the cards. Like I did an AMA on Reddit, and the question that got like the most upvotes was, how does this game stand up to like Riot or stand up to Magic and stuff like that, and what would make people come from Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone pro scenes to play in this game? And I was like, the main problem is that you have like 1/100th of the cards. I think Magic Modern has like 10,000 cards or something at least.
Yeah.
And this game has like what, like 200?
Couple hundred, yeah.
So it's just like you can't even compare the two games side by side as far as that, like in that aspect. So that's like the big issue.
Right. Or if you want to compare them, compare set one, compare Alpha Magic, which that's
Power 9, and then still it's not very.
Let me tell you, they did. I don't remember what the event actually was, but they did an event. I think a couple of years ago where they had like might have been like at a Channel Fireball event. They had a beta or either alpha or beta draft where like you had to qualify into it and maybe it was an invitational.
GP Vegas.
Yeah, GP Vegas, and Stan Sifka and Amaz and some other people got. Let me tell you, that format sucks for draft. Like it's like you're playing a bunch of like 1/2s for 3 mana that have like 15 lines of text, but actually don't do 15 lines of text to remove planeswalk from a green creature.
Yeah,
it's like
this is super relevant all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at some of those early Magic sets and tell me that that LOR is like obviously it has the benefit of seeing all that stuff and learning from it, but also like we
don't have anything that's a Black Lotus in this game. We don't have Mox, though. We don't have anything too crazy OP, but we did have Hecarim and Rekindler for a while.
Yeah.
So that's probably like the power 2 of this game. It's just all
there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, comparing those to Black Lotus is still like
same thing.
It's
really,
not same exact card actually. Hecarim is actually an anagram for Black Lotus if you really look into it. And then
do the math.
Even just do the math, idiot. Even like the first set of base set of Hearthstone, like that was, I mean, it was fun, but it like
very
was
vanilla,
boring.
very bland,
very boring.
So that's one of the downsides I think to this game too, is that it's like it looks really cool, and I like how everything has a hard counter like built into the game, which is really what it needed. So you have like elusives, and ideally you're like, oh, elusives are OP, just play challenger units. You're like, oh, burst spells are OP, well, you get stuff like Purify, and it's like cards like with Last Breath you get the mechanic Obliterate,
Yeah.
But the issue is you have one card right now that obliterates,
Right.
and it doesn't even obliterate some of the things you need. The elusive stats were like way too good, and the challenger unit stats aren't too good.
Yeah.
And then if you want to play Purify, you're locked into like exactly Demacia. And
Right.
if you drop Purify ever, not against a creature buff deck or something, then it's just horrible.
Yeah.
I think once you add a whole bunch of cards, the game gets real crazy good.
Crazy good. Absolutely. and even like, it's obviously different for the ladder, but just like tournament play, just because I've been knee deep in tournament play the last 3 weeks from casting, it's like it's just a completely different game, right? Because you have to bring three decks, and they can't overlap in regions. So like there's a whole other level of complexity that really makes it even richer, even with, you know. I think when we look back in 3 years and look back at the base set, we're like, oh, it was so vanilla, but like it's not even that vanilla compared to other ones. But so we got to ask you the important questions here. What's your favorite board and Guardian?
My Guardian probably has to be Gloomtooth. That's not a question. My favorite board.
Wow, I think that might be a first. I don't know if we've heard.
Yeah, that's the first one.
Really? The little shark's so cool.
The little shark is great. I don't know. Maybe we did when he first came out.
I like when he throws up all the fish. I think when he throws up the fish.
Oh yeah, it's good.
He's fantastic.
The board. I use Jinx right now.
Yes.
My favorite's probably still Hextech.
Yeah.
So when the game first came out, I bought the Hextech and the T-Rex guy because it looked super cool.
Boo, T-Hex, boo.
T-Hex the best. T-Hex best.
T-Hex was insane. And then
Gloomtooth
came out and I bought that. And then now I used the Minion for a while because I thought it was funny that if you clicked him a bunch, you killed him and then got gold and stuff like that.
Diamonds and gems. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
He is pretty solid. The Jinx board is good though.
Yeah, I love the Jinx board. I don't listen to music. I don't listen to the game music, so I lose out on that.
I still don't know what the Garen music sounds like. I almost want to try it out, but
Anyone
just
knows.
him yelling for Demacia.
For Demacia. For Demacia. For Demacia.
Over like a non-copyrighted beat someone uploaded to SoundCloud.
Yeah. It's a SoundCloud beat and Garen yelling for Demacia. After everything you do. Every time you click a card, for Demacia!
You don't even have to play it. You just pick it up to play it.
Yep.
You've ever been a 1/4 that got buffed and turned into an elite? You might be Demacian. Dermsian. I think I might have a whole bit here. Okay.
Look what Demacia did for me.
What are your favorite 3 cards and then least favorite cards?
My favorite 3 cards? Probably Ezreal Karma. And then I don't know. I think if I don't say Poros, my girlfriend will kill me. So some Poro.
What? Just any Poro?
Yeah, just any Poro.
Just throw one in.
Spooky Poro. I like the
Plucky
Spooky Poro.
Poro.
It's probably
Okay.
my favorite.
Nice.
Spooky
And
Poro.
then, and then Ezreal Karma are the other 2 cards. They're too good.
What about your least favorite 3?
My least favorite 3? Like to play against or what?
Just if you to play against you don't like.
Don't like the design, hate to play against them, think that
don't like the art, just whatever.
They're broken.
Probably whatever the last 3 like really shitty cards I lost to were. I don't know. I don't really dislike any cards except for when they're beating me at the moment, and I'm like, why are you playing this card? It's so bad. I'm never gonna play. Like I was playing a burn deck the other day, and this guy whipped out like an Absorb Soul in his War Mother's deck.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, you play 6 creatures? Why is there an Absorb Soul in your deck?
Yeah.
Like, I'm so like dumbfounded. Like, stuff like that.
Bro, I could kill my own Anivia with it. Think about it.
Yeah, people like, there's one scenario that happens 1 in 7,000 chances against this
and
one.
You're the one.
Deck. Yeah, that was like. Sure.
Yeah, I lost to a guy yesterday that was main decking 3 She Who Wanders, and I was not happy. And just like it wasn't even like a War Mother's Call deck. It was just like a Freljord Shadow Isles control deck, and he had 3. He played all 3 She Who Wanders, and I was like, I guess I lose the game. I was playing Undyings and stuff. I was like, what the heck?
That's crazy. See, it's that logic. If it wins, it wins. That logic right there, like, drives me up the wall. People do that magic all the time.
Yeah, that reminds me of a classic story that I'm sure no one is going to care about, but I'm going to say anyway because I love this story. There's a story of one of my buddies in Magic was playing at like a PTQ or something way back in the day, And I don't even remember what deck he was playing. He was playing 4-color control in like Alara block standard. So this is like over 10 years ago at least.
Yeah.
Like way over 10 years ago. And he's playing, and his opponent plays Quagnoth, which is like a like 6 mana 4/5 can't be countered, not even a good card at all. And his opponent puts it on the stack, and he's looking at like 3 cryptic, like can't possibly lose, like 3 cryptic command, like a handful of counter magic and stuff. His opponent plays Quagnoth, and he just starts shaking. And he's just, who plays that card? Just like in the middle of the match, and like can't finish the match and gets DQ'd. It's just like literally like explodes in like round 8 of a BTQ because his opponent plays a Quagnoth. It's like,
it's so good.
His Absorb Soul just like starts smashing the keyboard.
Yeah.
Why would you play that? You've got 3 minions in your deck.
Yeah. Stuff like that. It's just real tilting. That's what I give it. I say I don't tilt very often and don't rage, but my chat disagrees. They say I'm not very
so good
all the time.
Yeah, those are probably the times I get the most like annoyed or frustrated, when there's just the random bullshit card that should not be anywhere near your deck, and you're like, okay, yep, the one of Undying I'm now gonna lose.
I got to get this in just because make Demacia great again. Was redeemed. It happened. This is why you need to show up to the live show, because sometimes your crazy request can get into the podcast.
Sometimes it does.
Okay, before we get into the patch notes and the new cards, are there any champions that you want to see from League made into LOR cards?
I only play like 4 champions in League, and 2 of them are. I'd probably want to see like Fizz and Riven, I guess.
Fizz would be a cool one.
And then someone told me that Fizz is guaranteed, and then someone told me that like Riven's guaranteed, or they were like leaked. And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I get my 2.
Everyone says that.
So,
like, oh well, I saw this data mine post from Reddit, and it's guaranteed that these cards.
It's like, all right, so you work for Riot, and they're like, well done. I'm like, then shut up. No, it's in good fun. But I'm like, until like, I don't care if it's leaked or not until it's like official. Like, what does it even matter? It's like, okay, is this the next region? Maybe.
There are voice lines, like they have voice lines for them. But if you know anything about game design, you can get voice lines ahead of when you're going to release the actual thing. Like, you pay your voice actors when they're in the studio.
Right. Also, they could be next leveling it and putting in fake voice lines.
Oh, I always want that to happen when like it was happening in Hearthstone all the time, when people were first starting to like data mine like the next expansion way before it was coming out. I'm like, I just want them to put a entire fake expansion. Like Blackrock Mountain's not actually happening, but they put it in. And people are like, oh my god, like here's all the cards, and they're like, psych, not even happening. He's so good. People like, I made a whole website dedicated to this.
Have all these voice lines, but when you line them up, you realize it's just you getting rickrolled by the different characters. Like that would be, we're no strangers to love. Like it would be hilarious.
That'd be really good.
Yeah,
that's the new Draven voice line from the patches, right?
Oh, I gotta edit that part out. You know nope. I can't keep doing this. This is future work that I've been paid by Riot to do. Is be the new voice of Draven. Not really. Okay. So we've got a brand spanking new patch.
Yeah,
just came out.
Yesterday,
I think. Yeah, I think it was yesterday that it actually came out, which is awesome and crazy and amazing. So we got a bunch of card updates. So there's not too many. So maybe we probably won't spend too much time on some of them, but we can go over the big ones at least. So the first one, as we were talking about before, Draven now he doesn't need to strike twice. It goes, his level up is going from I've struck twice with a spinning axe to I've struck with 2 total spinning axes. So instead of having to give him an axe, have him strike, and then on another turn, give him an axe and have him strike again, you can now double it up and give him 2 axes on one turn, and that will level him up. So overall, pretty big buff, honestly.
Yeah. This was like a super confusing one because like I was making my video on it and I made like the infographic, and like they talked about it because when I first read it, they put in parentheses like Draven now levels up with when striking with 2 axes at the same time, and I thought they meant that's the only way to level him up now. I'm like, oh, this like Draven now like that's way harder. Like blah blah blah, and I was like, how is this a buff? And then like after reading it like 7 times, I was like, okay, now I get that it's like another way to level him up.
Yeah, he doesn't. He just has the additional ability to just double him up on one turn, which I thought that's how it worked when I first started playing him, and I've done that before. And I'm like, why didn't he level up? I just threw. Crap.
Yeah, when I first started playing Draven decks, I read that too, and I thought that's exactly how it worked. So I'd like save my axes up and then just double shoot them and be very sad.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, you're a purveyor of Dravens. How do you feel about this change?
I think it's good. I mean, I like Draven. I like Draven buffs. I'm probably still never gonna level him up. I'll still just use his axes for rummage.
Yeah.
I level him now is against little spider decks or something that try and jump block you. So
now what?
I mean, it's
you have to next level people and use judgment with him. That's the hot tech.
Yeah.
It fills your hand with axes.
Right? And then you play the guy that makes your whole hand decimates.
Ooh, who's in that new video, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty sweet. He like busts open the door.
That's another card I've seen a grand total of 1 time, and I had to read like 7 times. Like, is this really a card that exists in the game?
I saw it one time when I was browsing through my collection and was like, huh?
When do they add this thing?
Actually,
it reminds me of one of the first patches ever in this game. Someone messaged me and was like, oh my god, Mo, they added new cards to the game Pog. And I was so confused, and I was kind of excited. So confused, like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, check these out. And he sent me pictures of like I don't know their names, like Scarmother Verena or something. The, like, girl.
Yeah.
And then the guy that puts decimates into your hand, and then something else, battering ram, I think. And
Yeah.
Look at all these cool. I was like, those aren't new. People just don't play them because
they're just not getting played.
Yeah. So they're kind of like new cards.
Yeah.
I think that for the most part, I think on average you'll level Draven a little bit more, but it's more that you can threaten the Draven level up that changes and makes him better, I think.
Yeah, you're probably never going to do it, but you have the option to in combat if you want to get cheeky. So
it's like you can do this thing now.
Yeah,
but
he gets strong when he levels up, but
he does get overwhelmed.
He gets overwhelmed and it's a 5-4 or no, a 4-4. Oh man, I'm thinking back to the pre-nerf days. And he gives
we have another new card too from this patch, Yasuo. It's this new card they added in.
He got just a little bit thicker. He's now a 4-4 on the front side and a 5-5 on the back side. And it's kind of crazy how much 1 health can really change the community's opinion of him. Going from
especially because you're going from get excited removal to now actually having to use other cards.
Exactly. The difference between 3 health and 4 health is so big. That's why people ask me like, what are the craziest like stat lines on creatures? And I always say, why do you play Poro Herder when you're not playing any Poros? I'm like, just because the stats are good. Like 4 health, 3 like a 3-4, that's pretty good. It doesn't die to anything without getting 2 for 1 or like a Turbogen or something. But it's crazy.
He got anti-chump lumped, so he's no longer a chump lump. He got inverse chump lumped in. I think it was Alan ZQ that posted the Yasuo Noxus deck. Yasuo Noxus deck. Yeah. Which, I mean, I've been playing it a little bit, and I think it's strong for sure, but it's definitely a high skill level player is playing against people that he's on average probably better than anyway, playing a deck that they are not at all ready for because it didn't exist before he played it. And of course he's going to go 9-1. So take it for what it's worth. I think it is a strong archetype, and I think it needs a little bit of refinement, and but it is a fun deck to play, and it's definitely something different, which is cool because we're like how many weeks into the open beta and we're still seeing new decks get played. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Yep. The biggest payoff for this deck though is not Yasuo, it's not any of the stun cards, is that you get to play Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
Don't let the fluffy tails fool you.
Although for what it's worth, she is kind of a stun card, like a stun theme
She's
card.
insane.
She's like an OTK combo, right?
Yeah. She's way better than Yasuo.
Yeah. Well, I was just playing it, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna and then the other one, the I don't even know what his name. The 4/4 fearsome that gets +1/+1 for each card you.
Nuts.
Yeah, the something general. Captain General, that's his name. Captain General.
Captain General.
I'm sure that's what it is. He just is. He's just thick, man. And then you play the 5-mana stun all enemies with 4 or less attack. It's like, yeah, you just win on one turn out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You can play like Blade Twirler on 2, Blade Twirler on 3, and then you have enough mana to go turn 5, stun everything. And if you're playing against like spiders, or if they have a full board of small units, you stun their whole team and then you hit them for over 20.
Yeah, you just win. It's insane.
She's basically just a 2-mana 13/3 is how I always see her.
Quick attack, no less.
Crazy.
Yeah, with quick attack.
She can really like. There's so many cards that you can just take over, and it also is in the unique position to be able to play as the aggro deck or as the control deck. Like you can play it both ways, which is really cool. And Yasuo sort of functions in the middle there, and it's really nice. So, yeah. Yasuo obviously is like the centerpiece of the deck, but he's not needed at all. He's just a good addition to have. Now he's actually decently standard.
Worth playing.
Yeah, worth
now
playing.
He's actually worth playing.
Yeah. Speaking of maybe worth playing, Katarina got a pretty big rework here.
Yeah,
so,
it's interesting.
Yeah, her old text, of course, is level up, she struck once, and then when she levels, recall her. Now, when you play her, you create a fleeting Blade's Edge in hand, and that's the only difference. Then when she strikes once, you level up and recall her. So basically the same card, but now you're getting a 1-mana deal 1 damage, so you have to use that turn.
Yep.
Interesting card.
Yeah, I mean, it gets you like it. She's such a weird card, right? She's just super interesting. But it's a lot of times you get the same effect that you get with like the Dravens or like a Lux Beam or something, where you have the ability to do something, so it makes it more difficult for your opponent because they know that you have the ability to do the thing. So it's interesting.
I just think Riot likes adding useless text on cards.
Yeah.
All the time.
I mean, are you ever?
We have this? No, never. I'm
never. Like, does it maybe go in like as a one of in the like the Ezreal Draven? Like, do you ever play one of these over a Draven and Ezreal, Noxus Ezreal?
Isn't it just the worst Draven?
I mean, yes, but
the thing with Katarina's just such a bad card. She just like out tempos yourself, and you're using her. And people are like, "Oh, but you can rally," and I'm like, "Whoa, you can spend 6 mana on a rally." That's crazy. Imagine playing Demacia,
right?
Where you can spend 3 mana on a rally.
She's one of those. She's so interesting because I remember the first closed beta. Everyone thought Katarina was the most broken card in the game because rally is so strong. Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you play her with like elusives, and you get every turn you spend 4 mana, and she's so strong." And now we're like, damn, that's really inefficient.
Yeah, I put her S tier right up there. I was like, this Katarina deck's gonna be best deck coming into open play week 1. Aggro, too good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it takes exactly 1 time of playing her in an aggro deck to realize that she's not an aggro card at all. Yeah. And then if she's not an aggro card, then why are you her ability is very aggro focused, but she just costs 10 billion mana.
Yeah.
So
it's funny because since the patches came out yesterday, like everyone's playing with the new stuff, right?
Yeah.
And every single time my opponent played Katarina, they never once played her after she flipped. Never once. I played probably 12 Katarina decks, and never once did they play her after she leveled up.
Yeah.
It's just too hard because you're like saying, okay, imagine if you even played on turn 3. You can't play it on turn 4 because then you're not developing board. You don't just want to spend 4 mana to maybe get 4 damage in.
Yeah.
Same reason on turn 5, you want to play a 5-drop or something. Same reason on turn 6, you want to play a 6-drop or something.
And you leave yourself without a board. Like, she bounces back to your hand, so then you can't ever use her on defense.
Hope you like getting open attacked.
Yeah,
I think she more than even more, honestly, I think even more than old Callista needs a rework of some sort or something, because like adding a Blade's Edge in hand, that's like the most random thing that could have happened, because what does that change even? I mean, this is the what Riot gave as their sort of reasoning. They say, we want to give Katarina a slight increase in versatility and usability while addressing a fundamental problem with her play pattern. Trying to use her early can be ineffective, as her self-recall leaves you too far behind in the game. In addition to improving her resonance, her new ability should both up Katarina's power in her current decks and allow her to be played in a wider variety of strategies. I mean,
it's not wrong. It does make her better, adding stuff, but
yeah, but I can't imagine that is even close to relevant.
No, God,
I can't imagine anyone being like, damn, Katarina sucks. You know what would make her so playable and then like really, really good? We give her this fleeting, not even just a Blade's Edge, but a fleeting Blade's Edge.
It's so it's so interesting. What if it was like a fleeting? No, I don't know. I think that I get the Blade's Edge thing, because like that's her like thematic things are the blades, but I think back to the drawing board for Katarina.
If it gave you a fleeting get excited, she'd be sick.
I don't. But I don't think that they would give.
She needs like a new card. She needs like a not shampoo, but whatever her like AOE ability is she uses in League. They need to give her an AOE ability that hits like 2 units next to the unit she's attacking or something. Like make her useful. Even her spell right now is like what, like Death Lotus does like 1 damage to all attacking creatures. Like what is
all battling dudes.
That doesn't matter against Bannerman. What you can do, pop barriers maybe, but then
if you're super lucky.
Yeah, that would be interesting if like when she attacked, she also attacked the 2.
Yeah, like a faux revert type thing.
Yeah. Give her like a cleave effect.
Yeah, cleave would be cool. There's a lot of ways that they could do it. I mean, they could do a number of different things to make her relevant. I mean, even like what if she was 2 mana? What if they just like made her on both sides, made her mana cost go down? Is that too good?
Yeah, 2 and a 3.
Is that too good? It might be.
It's pretty sick.
But I'm also not on the balance team, so I don't need to worry about these things. But
I think they should make her a 1 mana 1/1 with elusive that when it hits the Nexus puts 5 puff caps in her deck.
and also has Scout.
And also has Scout confirmed.
And double strike, so you add 5 mushrooms twice.
Yep. Double Scout double Scout. Yeah. Not strike Scout.
And it just says level up
whenever you want.
Yeah, we click this card. Right-clicking this card will level it up.
I've leveled up when you've clicked my card.
I saw a fan-made card of Lee Sin, and it was like, when I've seen you play a card, and people were like, "Oh, this is so busted." Like, oh wait.
It would be funny if it was like I level up when, and then it was like minimized, so you had to click the card to see what it said, and then it's just when you've read this text.
When you've read this text, and
I level up as you're reading this.
My mind's been blown.
Yep. By the way, Legends of Runeterra, you can feel free to use that for next April Fools. Yep. That one's free from us. Okay, speaking of Kalista, we got a little bit of a bufferino to her. I mean, we talked about this when they originally changed her, right? They are basically reverting back to she's seen 3 allies to level up. So has her new changes, but then the level up requirement is reverted back to what it was. So I've already on the ladder seen a bunch of Kalista decks. I think that's your fault, Saucy. I've seen people playing this a bunch now.
So we're at the end of yesterday's stream. 15 of my deck slots are now Kalista decks. So we did a 9-hour Kalista stream yesterday. So. Wow. It's considerably better. I'm not convinced she's insanely strong or anything. I think she's still not amazing. She still has the same issue. Like she's got super aggressive stats, but has a very control oriented ability.
Right.
But it's so much easier. Like now you can just play a Haunted Relic and she it's really cool.
I had someone try and play test against me. He was like, "Hey, I need to play test this into Karmazriel." I was like, "All right." He plays some unit on turn 1. I kill a unit on turn 2, and then he plays the make 2 1/1 spiders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He plays Calista on 3, and then alligators me on 4.
Yeah.
And I was like instant speed killed off 2 units and leveled his Calista. and now he has a
Yeah.
7/7.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah,
okay. I guess I'm just staring down a 4/4 and a level of Callista now.
Thanks, Saucy, for that.
Yeah. Like we actually had a couple really good decks. The thing is, it doesn't. Still, none of the decks that we are trying do well at all against Karina control. Like, it still just wipes the floor with this. Like, Karina just kills you. Ruination ends your life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't do well against Karma Ezreal. So if you can't beat those two decks, it's really tough.
Right.
Yeah. I was also playing against it as the Yasuo deck, and I can bounce all of the Undyings and stuff, and I just don't care how big they get.
Yeah, Will of Ionia, good card.
Yeah. Turns out still good.
William of Ionia. Definitely.
It's called here William.
Yeah, that's the
William
full
of
name.
Ionia.
That's the full name of the card.
It's actually Sir William of Ionia.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, and Marky Mark of the Isles.
Yes.
Okay.
Get it? It's stupid. Next up, we've got so those are the champions that got changed. We've got some followers and spells as well that got changed. Laurent Duelist, who was the 3-mana 3/2 that gave an ally challenger this round, is now 4/2.
I didn't know this card existed.
I only knew it because
from Expeditions.
Of Expeditions, where I played it a decent amount. It's an Expedition card. Let's be honest. It's not give it until it becomes like if it was like a 2/4. I mean, yeah, 2/4 for 3 is already good, and we see that with Laurent Protege, which is a really good
if
card.
They made it instead of this round, if it was a permanent effect, this card would be sick.
Oh, wait a second. This is like the exact. I get it now. This is the exact inverse of Protege. He's a 3-mana 4/2 that gives something else challenger. Protege is a 3-mana 2/4 that has challenger. Okay, I get it now. But yeah, this is not strong enough, and also is very much like the ability that we're going to be talking about in a bit, which is Sejuani's ability, which is definitely
or something like that.
It is called Vulnerable. It's kind of like Vulnerable, a little bit like Vulnerable. So I think that Laurent Duelist, probably just an Expedition card. I don't think it's the type of card that there's only one other card that gives units challenger, the spell that gives all of your units challenger.
On guard.
On guard.
Dude, I've been playing a ton of that actually.
I saw that.
It's actually really good with Undying.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. So I'm not sold on Laurent Duelist, but I mean they got better. So use it in your expeditions.
Technical buff.
A big one here is El Bannerman Vanguard Bannerman no longer buffs himself.
Yep.
He now will always be a 3/3. So effectively giving his power, -1/-1 inherently. The top decked Bannerman with no board is just going to feel so much worse. Makes Bannerman almost feel fair. I think this was something that people were suggesting from the beginning. It's like, why is he also a 4/4 for 4?
It basically went from being a 4-mana 8/8 to a 4-mana 7/7.
Yeah.
And that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
He's effectively still the same card that gets played exactly the same, but it does make it slightly more fair.
It makes it more fair, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about the 3 to 4 health is a pretty big breaking point. So granted, the Bannerman himself is not the important thing, but it's a small nerf, and he'll still be played, and that deck will likely still be good unless there's something crazy with the new cards. And I think it's fine. I don't mind Bannerman being a good deck or it being a good card in that deck. It's just small. I mean, maybe they can even nerf it again at some point, but overall, I'm okay with it. Next card is another one. I sure didn't realize this card existed. Blood for Blood, which is which was a 3-mana fast spell that deals 1 damage to an allied follower. If it survives, create a copy of it in hand. Now costs 2 mana. Was this in the Spank Me Vladdy deck?
No, it wasn't good enough to make it.
Is it good enough now at 2 mana?
No, it's really not.
Yeah.
But
It's cute.
Did they change the art? Is it?
I think so. Actually, I don't remember it being purple before.
I don't
I think it was
remember
red.
seeing this ever as a purple card.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say I've never seen this card before, and I want to make sure that I've maybe seen
a red version of it.
Blood. Yeah, but not like this card.
Maybe
This is the time to bring this up. The stealth card changes because we got some voice lines that changed as well that weren't anywhere that I saw in the patch notes. Vanguard Redeemer doesn't yell anymore.
That's
crazy.
Sad.
Just saying.
So sad. Yeah, we need to know, right? We need to know these things, okay? These are the types of things that we need to know and that we deserve as a community. But yeah, this is I'd say it's an expedition card, but I don't want to play this card in expedition.
Nope, it's technically a card that exists in the game.
Only exists in theory only. Next up, Kato the Arm is getting a health buff from 5/3. Now is a 5/4. Again, we've already talked about 3 to 4 is a big turning point. This is a card I've used a pretty good amount in expedition, and I think this card was starting to see like a fringe amount of play.
Yeah.
In some aggressive decks on the top end. So obviously this makes it much better. Mo, have you played this card at all?
Yeah, I've played this card in combo decks with like Shiraza. And I know this card's still not playable and it's still like really bad.
Yeah.
Maybe it's good now with 4 health, but the biggest thing here is if you're playing in an aggro deck, you're probably tapping out on like 4 or 5 mana cards. Or even in like your combo deck, you want to end the game on like turn 5. Basically, when you play this card, you want to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with it having 3 health and your opponent's like, okay, well, I have infinite removal spells because everything deals 3 damage.
Yeah.
You feel really bad because now your top ender, your game ender just dies to everything.
Yeah.
And being at 4 health could really change that. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to make this card good or not, like combo decks or whatever, but that's definitely really good because when you're playing an aggro deck, you don't want your top. Like imagine if Darius just like had 3 health or something.
Oh,
you know?
I don't want to imagine that. I've used a lot of Darius, and I like.
Yeah, like if your top end, like game ender, like your Jinx, if your Jinx had 3 health after leveled up and stuff like that.
I was gonna say,
really
Jinx
bad.
does have 3 health. Yeah, no, I see.
Like, when you level it up.
Yeah.
She'd be really, really, really unplayable, and that deck. I don't even think that deck would be a thing if Jinx had 3 health.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a big turning point or a big break point for sure, and maybe we'll see. He's the type of card that you want to play as like a one of maybe in like certain metas. It's like he helps you power through the spiders like for free basically because he's a big dude, and now can survive a couple of hits. So overall good in expedition will be good too. Next up is Avarosan Trapper, going from a 3 mana 2/2 to a 3 mana 3/3. And this is another card that I've seen a bunch of people playing already. Like I think BBG was actually playing this on stream earlier. Are Yetis a real thing now, or are we getting trolled here?
I think master players are just having fun.
If I had to be honest,
I think your rank 1 player, and I think someone said Swim put out a Yeti. I'm like, both of these players are either rank 1 current or previous rank 1, so they don't have to actually play the game now. They can kind of just play whatever they want, and if they want to say something's good or just have fun, then they can have fun. I think they're just having fun. I don't think. Maybe play Vanya Yetis or something. Vanya turns your 1 mana 5/5s into 1 mana 7/7s.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've tried a lot to make the Yeti decks work. Obviously, this is some dumb shit I would play, but like obviously, I mean, this is a good bump, right? A +1/+1, but the deck itself doesn't get any better by him having a stat increase, and the deck was tier 4 before, so. I don't think it's actually good. I think just like Mo was saying, it's funny and it's fun. The deck is hilariously fun to play. Like when you Von Yip into 3 1 mana 7/7s, it's like really cool. But
I think I don't play too many meme decks because I don't like to have fun.
Yeah,
people make fun of me all the time. I don't like to have fun. I like to win. Winning is my fun.
Yep.
But I like look at cards, be like, why am I not playing this Yeti deck? Or like Yetis obviously look nice, but 1 mana 5/5 you can't say it's bad. The problem is you have to put a lot of work into it, so it's not really a 1 mana 5/5. It's like you're playing. What's that card? It's like a 3 mana spell that puts a Yeti on the top of your deck.
Right.
Yeah.
So really, you're spending 4 mana and you're
and a card draw.
Yeah, you're breaking a turn and 4 mana to play a Yeti, which at that point it's like,
well, yeah.
not.
Plus, like, if it's turn 7 and you play a 1 mana 7/7, and you didn't play anything else that turn, did it really cost 1 mana, or might it as well have costed 7 mana, and there's no difference?
Yeah,
like,
that's the other thing. If you can't play it on turn 1, it's not really a 1 mana.
Right.
5.
Yeah.
So again, now I think what is actually relevant is that this card is much better in Expedition now because 3 mana 3/3 is nice, but the Yetis, there's still not like a Yeti synergy. It's just there are a couple of Yetis, and there's like kind of a weird like put it in your deck theme around them, but meh. All right, Starlit Seer is now going from a 2 mana 2/2 to a 2 mana 3/3. This is another one I've seen. I think people are just trying to test out the new cards. I've seen it in the Trapper deck, and everyone's playing it. I mean, this one I think is a little bit closer, though, right? This is like a leveled up Hawk here, where like you can actually get good value out of this.
Yeah, the Starlit Seer is really cool. We were actually talking about this card a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
On cards that we wanted to see buffed when it was like a user question. I still would rather this be like a 5 mana spell that the effect gives like +3/+3 or something crazy, or like +2/+2, and it has better stats. But it's still like obviously going from 2 health to 3 health is a big deal. You're out of Mystic Shot range.
Yep.
The thing is, it's still super slow. It's just very, very slow.
Yeah, it's like an Omen Hawk that you have to work harder for.
Yeah.
And you like maybe get the upside sometimes.
Yeah, having to play 2 spells to get the same effect as a 1 mana 1/1 is that's a yikes. But yeah, I mean it's better, so I guess thumbs up again. Expedition, etc., etc. Next one up here is what Weirding. No, was Weirding Stones ever this iteration?
Weirding Stones was a 2 mana 0/4.
Yeah, I was gonna say
said if this card ever went back to 2 mana and stayed there for longer than a week, I would quit this game.
Yeah. It was absurd at 2 mana.
Yeah.
And when it was a 2 mana card, that's when I was saying that Freljord Shadow Isles controls the best card or the best deck in the game.
Yeah.
That's all I played in beta.
Yeah, same. And then when they made it 3 mana, we're like, card blows.
Yeah. Yeah. But now it's a 3 mana 0/4. They say that ramp is an integral part of Freljord's identity, but there's only 2 cards that ramp.
Yeah, just this and Catalyst.
Yeah. So I'm imagining we'll see more of that eventually.
I think what they're trying to say is you played 10 drops, and we want to make you feel like you can consistently get to your 10 drops in this deck.
Yeah.
Or your 12 mana spell.
Yeah, I was going to say, you like 10 drops. How about 12 drops?
Yeah, you play a 12 mana card, and we want you to feel like you can get there before dying to Bannerman.
Yeah.
So here's ramp.
Yeah, here's ramp, and now you get one. Your Weirding Stones can now block the newly unbuffed Bannerman.
I think what's important about this card, because I got into a pretty in-depth discussion about this on YouTube, is not in the current state of the game. I don't think this card fits in anything right now.
Right.
But in the future, there will be a big ramp deck that'll be super strong with this card, and having the 4 health is super relevant.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For the same reasons as we've said about all the other 4 health.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like, what are the actual payoffs right now to ramping? It's like
just aren't.
Ledros, doesn't, like, if you're behind, Ledros doesn't help. No. She Who Wanders is exactly
unless you're the guy playing 3 of them.
Right.
I've Lore Mothers on my opponents like turn 7 before. That feels kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then they still just play Deny, and you are sad.
Right. So I mean, I'm glad that there is counterplay to it, but right now there's like not enough. What if Weirding Stones had regeneration? Would that make it like
super cool? Someone said that it should have tough. It's legitimately stones. It's a rock. Why doesn't it have tough?
I mean, good point. Can't argue with that. Yeah.
Why doesn't Timo have Scout?
That's exactly.
We don't know that
this
he
is
won't.
why I brought you on the show.
We don't know that he won't yet.
Yeah. Confirmed.
Okay. Let's talk about Shady Character. This has got to be close to the least relevant change, but he's
you can skip this card.
Yeah, Shady Character is going from a 1 mana or a 1/1 to a 1/3. I guess makes it so that you can't just static shock in response because for whatever reason this card's play effect goes on the stack. This is just a weird card that doesn't work out, and making it a 1/3 instead of a 1/1 makes makes it go from a wow, my 4-mana card, my 4-mana clone gets completely blown out to I get to play this, and it doesn't get like, yeah.
Take the ability off the stack, and we might have a card. No,
Right,
not
because,
might. We will have a card.
Yeah, because then you get like comes into play effects, like every other clone in Magic since the beginning of time, and like part of the reason why it's so good.
Doesn't Hearthstone play like a 4-mana clone? Like a
No, it's 5 mana.
clone?
5 mana,
Yeah,
3
it's a
faceless manipulator, and that didn't give
still...
you. It didn't give you the battle cries, so that one was also like that. But like,
but at least you got the stats, right? I mean,
yeah.
Did you get the abilities where it says like, what was it, taunt and stealth? And
Yeah,
stuff
you
like
got
that,
the abilities, and this does too. But like, it doesn't give you the comes into play effect, which.
Well, this card doesn't do anything right now because the ability goes on the stack. So
yeah, it's just
this card is only good when you're playing Pursuit of Perfection.
Sure, because you randomly get it off of one of your random generation cards sometimes. And then the last card change here is Frenzied Skitterer is now a 3/2 instead of a 3/3. Yeah, good. Even though I really like Skitterer, mostly because I've been playing a lot of Corina.
Yep.
But like that doesn't really affect that deck as much. This just makes like Frenzied Skitterer didn't need to have it all, okay? It still does have it all, but now you can at least Mystic Shot it, which feels better.
Yeah, so this buff feels real good. I play tested against someone who was playing spiders in this deck.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how many times they would play Skitterer and I would just have like Mystic Shot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Mystic Shot, and I'm like, oh, I couldn't do, or like even double
Static Shock.
Vial.
Static Shock. Yeah, double Static Shock, and I'm like, wow, you couldn't do this before.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I still think that the ability is pretty nutty.
Oh yeah.
I think if you could, it's both buffing your units and debuffing your opponents. I think it could do either or and maybe be okay. But
like
I think
choose one.
Yeah, like a choose one.
That would be cool.
That's really insane.
Yeah,
I think that'd still be really strong. It'd still be a good card.
Yeah, and again, there has to be good cards in the game, or else the game's just not fun, right? It's just like a super grindy, like dumb. There's limited formats in Magic that are like that, where there's no good cards, and they're usually pretty boring unless you're like a complete degenerate like me. This just makes it doesn't need to have it all. Like, give it most of everything, doesn't need to have it all, and we took a little bit away here, so that's good. Their watch list includes Ezreal and Karma. Sorry, Mo. You can read their reasonings there. These are ones that people have been asking about. I feel like Ezreal is the new let's go on Twitter and complain about it card.
Yeah.
I love Ezreal, one of my favorite decks.
Same.
One of my favorite cards in general. So I hope he doesn't get too nerfed if
I mean, he's already been nerfed once. Leave him alone.
That's true.
Just leave the boy alone. Someone messaged me and they were like, did you see this Ezreal Karma didn't get nerfed? I was like, oh, that's cool. They're like, yeah, they put him on the watch list. And I was like, oh, that's cool. He's like, he's been on my watch list for about 2 weeks. As in, I sit there and watch him win the game on turn 10 for about 2 weeks. And I'm like, true. I just think the biggest problem here is I don't think burst damage should be a thing. Burst damage to Nexus.
Yeah. See, I kind of like that. Only because like it's still like a hedge between Magic and Hearthstone, where Hearthstone like always felt like playing with the bumpers on, like in bowling, because they they don't let you combo anything ever, and when they do, they take it out of the game. There were some decks a long time ago with Warsong Commander and Patron and Molten Giants and all that. Like they get rid of all of that stuff because they don't want people to have that. Magic, everything is off, and you can go literally go infinite all the time, and it's like part of the game design is to have infinite decks. And like burst technically isn't infinite, but like it takes some setup and then you just win the game. Like, I don't think that necessarily has to be a bad thing. I get why people don't like it, but I personally am like, I'm fine with this being there a bit. Like, I don't think it should be the only win con where it's like, every deck is just setting up this like checkmate. Like, it's like, oh, okay, well, you're not dead right now, but boom, 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 you're dead like every game. But like having a deck that does that sometimes is, I think, fine.
Yeah, I feel like a change that I could see them making to Karma would be like the first spell you cast each turn gets cast twice, something like that. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
Or like that sounds really bad. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's like a really good nerf. That sounds really, really bad.
I mean, then she's suddenly not good anymore.
Right.
But
I said the same thing, but make it like the first fast spell, the first slow spell, and the first
yeah,
like,
that'd be cool.
reverse spell.
You get to do one of each.
I just don't want to change anything for very obvious reasons.
Same.
Yeah,
I definitely don't think it's like helpful.
I think it's a bad idea to change anything right now, especially since we're launching essentially a new set of cards with a whole new region and all this new stuff. Like, let all the new stuff come out. Let it settle for a bit, and then see if it's still a problem.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised that they made changes. Like, someone asked me, they're like, "Do you think?" Because people ask me all the time, "Do you think Ezreal Karma's gonna get nerfed?" You know, like Deck's insane, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't think they're changing anything until the new cards come out.
Right.
Because you don't need to. Just let the new cards come out and then see what happens. Because for all we know, there could be an anti-Karma Ezreal card that shuts the deck down, stuff like that.
Right.
And then I turn around and 2 days later, they're like, "We made changes to Bannerman, Skitterer, Draven, Yasuo, all these other cards." I'm like, oh.
Well, I do think that that's a big reason why this patch is mostly buffs. Like, they buffed a lot of cards and didn't nerf a whole lot of things. Yeah. I think that's a big reason for it.
Yeah, I think that they changed the cards that maybe needed to be changed based on the new cards. That would make sense. Like preemptive changes. But yeah, overall, that's patch 0.9.4. There's some expedition changes in here that we're not going to go over, and some card clarity things, which are just overall thumbs up. Nothing really to cover there. But overall, I think a good patch. Nothing I like massively disagree with other than the Katarina.
I have something to massively disagree with.
Ooh, yes, bring it.
All right. Why can't we choose who plays first in friendly matches?
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, you can. It's just not easy to do.
Yeah, why is that a thing?
You have to have them queue up first.
My thing is like, well, that doesn't even work anymore.
Oh, it doesn't work anymore? They got rid of that?
They took it out. Yeah, it's random now.
Yeah, now it's a coin flip.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's actively terrible.
Yeah. I told my chat, if anyone can give me one good reason on why you would take that away, I'd consider giving you $10. If you can give me one legit good reason on why you shouldn't be able to choose who gets to go first in friendly matches.
Yeah, it's in the first thing in their bug fixes was friend challenge will now randomly assign first and second player in each match.
Oh, yeah, no, that's awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is actively bad. No, I agree. Okay, I take back everything I said. The patch is terrible. Revert the whole thing because of that one thing. No, in reality, everything except for that I think is overall pretty good. And that, like, just give us the option to choose it. Or give us the option to do it randomly. I don't think it should be that hard to do, but I also don't know. But it was in there before.
Put an option in that says like
coin flip.
It could randomly choose.
Yeah.
Well, because like if you're doing like a best of 3 like tournament format, and instead of doing RPS, like just have it be a coin flip or whatever, like that, like just give us the option to, or put like a little coin flipper thing in there, right? And like have them call, like that would be a cool thing. I
played a tournament this last weekend, and there was a match. I brought 2 aggro decks. And for the first 3 rounds, I went first every single game for the first 3 rounds with double aggro deck in the tournament.
Yeah.
And it felt really not fair, at all.
Felt pretty good though, right?
No, it actually felt dirty. It felt really bad. I'd be upset if I was the other people. And that happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, especially since that is the mode through which we are doing tournaments right now. That just give us a little bit of control on the tournament side, because otherwise it's just do we have to keep remaking until we get it? Because you don't want it to just be like, oh well, I won the coin flip, okay, because that I think was one of the better things about LOR is it doesn't feel super awful every time. But I don't know. We'll see.
I think, isn't it in Hearthstone? Didn't you have to randomly? Isn't that how you did in Hearthstone? You would just sit there and remake until, or was that Magic or Arena? I think in one of those game
I don't
modes,
even know how you
sit there
do
and just,
Magic Arena tournaments, and I haven't played a Hearthstone tournament since Blackrock Mountain was out.
Okay, I had friendly challenges. I think you literally had to sit there and then just remake over and over and over again until somebody ended up going first that was supposed to go first.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. So that's my bit of feedback there. No, I'm glad you caught that because I did not pick up that. This is why I need to start reading these bugs. Yeah, that just needs to be. The only reason I would think that they would revert it here is that they're going to put a feature in that is more of like a nice implemented feature or like tournament mode or something. I mean, that is what I would want. But even like in friendly battles, it's like, okay, we remove this bug where just the first person who queued up because when the game releases, friendly battles are going to have this like options package or something in it.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That's the only thing that makes sense to me. So now ship that $10 over, by the way. No.
No, from what I've heard, and this is just from like LOR Discord, so it's a whole bunch of like, you know, just whatever. Like what you say with people saying leaked voice lines and stuff, and you're like, I don't care until it actually comes out.
Yeah.
What I've heard is that people that are like high ranked in LOR, they have like Riot contacts and stuff, and they complain to the Riot people that they didn't tell us that you could choose who goes first, and apparently that was misinterpreted to we don't like that we can choose who goes first. And so that's why they changed it.
I love it.
That's what I was told by like 2 people, but personally I'm kind of like
I think that's malarkey.
Yeah,
that's what I would say, but I don't know.
Okay.
I have no knowledge of that one way or the other, but I think that's kind of a bogus story. But no matter, that is one thing that I actively would want changed, for sure, because that just I think it's bad for it to be the way that it is now. But enough on that. Let's talk about some new cards. Since the last show, we've had not 1 but 2 batches of cards. We have the Freljord batch with Sejuani, and we have the Shadow Isles batch with Maokai. So let's just do them in order. We'll start with Sejuani, new champion in the new set, a 6 mana 5/6, has Overwhelm and has a play ability, give an enemy Frostbite and Vulnerable this round, and levels up when you've damaged the enemy nexus in 5 different rounds this game. Vulnerable is the enemy can challenge this unit, forcing it to block. So it's kind of like inverse challenger.
Yeah.
And then when she's leveled up, play give an enemy Frostbite and Vulnerable this round. And the first time I see you damage the enemy nexus each round, Frostbite all enemies.
I think it's sweet.
It's a mouthful, but I think it is sweet. Saucy, what are your overall thoughts on Sedge?
I really like it. I like seeing Freljord get some good cards because Freljord's just as a region overall pretty weak. When you're only playing it for Omen Hawk and Iron Potion,
Elixir
like
of Iron.
Yeah, like that's all you're playing the entire region for. She's sick. I think it's not as easy to level her up as you would think just by looking at her, but I mean it's not hard to do. It's just not always going to happen by turn 6. And she's just really cool. Her flavor's dope.
Mo, what do you think about this card? Is it playable?
Yeah, probably. When I first saw it, I thought this card was the worst card I've ever seen in my life, and I thought Riot was trolling us because I didn't realize that it just meant level up the Nexus in general. I thought it was one of those like I have to see you damage the Nexus.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so you have to play this card on 6, and then you have to damage the enemy.
Turn 11,
yeah, and then turn 11, you're such Wani levels. I'm like, okay, but no, it looks really sick. I think as far as playability goes, I think the vulnerable effect is cool.
Yeah.
I think unless Freljord gets better cards, it's just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because I think Freljord is just a really bad region. I think Sejuani's probably a good card. I think Freljord's not a good region.
This is definitely, I mean, the like flavor of these cards are very much the like damage your own dudes and like make big overwhelm guys sort of line of Freljord. And obviously Sedge has the Frostbite as well, so maybe like a Sedge Ash type of build or something. But I think Sedge is cool because she's one of the, with maybe the exception of Ezreal right now, I'm trying to think, or like kind of Yasuo, but she's like one where I think we're going to see her played as her leveled up version more than we're going to see her played
probably
as the other, because she's expensive, and you don't she doesn't need to be played
on the field.
Yeah, on the field to get the level up. And also she doesn't help you get the level up, kind of like Yasuo.
Exactly.
So if you see her as just if you look at her just as the leveled up version, that's actually pretty sick. Especially since you attack with her first, she does damage to, she overwhelms potentially, or when you play her that turn, probably going to overwhelm, and just you essentially wipe their board.
Some people saying this could be good in a Vladimir deck, all of these new cards they're showing, deal 1 damage to everything.
Yeah.
Other allies get +5 power, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
could be
not a deck builder.
It's definitely I'm also not. That's Saucy's realm there, but we could see the maybe the Freljord spank me Vladdy deck.
Yeah, I mean you run Braum now, but I think she's just better than Braum probably in that deck.
Yeah. So the other cards that we got here for Freljord, Ruthless Raiders, a 2-mana 3/1 overwhelm tough. I think that's a pretty strong card.
Yeah.
Overall, we've got Ember Maiden, a 3-mana 2/2 round start, deal 1 to everything.
I think she's sick.
Yeah, that card seems sick. There's not many cards like that also deal the damage to enemy nexus like that.
Yeah.
They change to the cards, a lot of them that do that. Stormclaw Ursine. So this has an asterisk on it, but it's a 5-mana 6/6 overwhelm. Other allies with 5+ power have overwhelm. The reason there's an asterisk on this is because it doesn't have a rarity and therefore isn't a collectible card and probably isn't something that you just put in your deck. It probably gets either summoned from something or is
generated somehow.
Yeah, generated like the Yetis. So it's if we saw Enraged Yeti or if we saw the Yeti, the 1-mana 5/5, like, this card is fucking broken.
Yeah.
No, because you can't just play that card in your deck. And I think Stormclaw Ursine is like that too.
This was my favorite card out of all of the league.
Yeah.
Cards.
Yeah. I mean,
5-mana 6/6 overwhelm.
That's at least what I'm drawing from that. I could be wrong, but I don't.
No, they said that somewhere on a post.
I thought I saw that on Twitter. Someone from Riot said that on Twitter. But
Dang.
And then the last card is Fury of the North, which will heretofore be called Furry of the North.
Yeah.
It even has the bear claw on it. I mean, come on. Give an ally +4/+4 this round for 4 mana and burst. I actually kind of like this card, and what really sold me on this is when someone said, "Oh, it's like Freljord Riposte."
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. I mean, if it's not as good against Thermogenic Beam, but I think in most cases it is as good as, or at least in a lot of cases it's the same as Riposte, and also always gives you more power, right?
And I think that's Sejani's signature spell, right?
We don't know that for a fact, but that's my assumption based on the fact that they revealed it with her.
Yeah.
And it also has her weird bear boar claw thing on it.
Volibear would be cool.
Volibear would be real cool.
3 champions in each region, or?
They're just adding one more.
Yeah, I think
for each.
just one. So
okay.
No Volibear this set unless he's in a different region for some reason.
That would suck so bad. Like the Freljordian god aspect is
PNZ. Yep, you heard it here first, folks. Volibear PNZ. Oh, I'm getting a call from the FBI saying take that back.
So interesting about what's her name? The Ember Maiden. I wonder if she works with Funsmith. Is that considered a skill?
Ooh, I don't think so, because I think skills are the things that go on the stack only.
Damn. I really wish that would work with Funsmith.
What is Funsmith?
She's the one that makes all your spells and skills do 1 extra damage.
Well, then she just kill herself after 1 round.
She's a 2/3.
No, she's the 2/2.
No, she's a...
I was talking about the Funsmith. Yeah. We give her tough.
I mean, giving her tough right now is just good.
Wait, can you play Ember Maiden and the PNZ card and tough?
In Expedition you can.
Okay.
Well, there might be cards in the new set in Freljord or in PNZ that give you tough.
I was actually surprised there's no Freljord tough cards.
Yeah.
I think they're pretty good tough. I mean, there's Tryndamere, but
oh yeah, true.
Listen,
Oh wait, he's not tough anymore. He used to be tough.
yeah.
Yeah,
Now
he
he's
got rid of it.
weak.
Now he's just a
weak.
weak
He
little
stopped lifting.
baby bitch.
Yep, you heard it here.
Yep, that's actually his secret text. If you look at the card, it's Tryndamere, the weak little baby bitch. I'm gonna get canceled for that comment. I don't care.
Yeah, it's fine.
Speaking of getting canceled, let's talk about Maokai. I don't know. I think because we're gonna cancel the opponent's deck. That's why.
Love it.
Maokai. This is one that already a front runner for my favorite card in the set, but
yeah.
Maokai is a 4-mana 1/4 and says the first time you play another ally each round, toss 2. We'll get to what that is in a second, and summon a sapling, which is a 2/1 ephemeral challenger unit. And then his level up is when your units have died or your cards have been tossed 25 times this game, he levels up. And his level up is a 4-mana 2/5 regeneration. When I level up, obliterate the enemy deck, leaving 4 non-champions, and then round start, summon a sapling. So, yeah. And then toss.
Really cool.
Toss is obliterate X, where X is the toss number. X non-champion cards from the bottom of your deck. So basically you play stuff, you mill yourself, and then when you've milled yourself 25 times or 25 of your units have died, or some combination of milling yourself and your units have died 25 times, when you play him, he literally just kills your opponent's entire deck. Yeah. Is this card broken, unplayable, or something else? I can't tell. I honestly can't tell.
I think the units that also have toss could make it maybe playable.
Yeah.
Because you get like the toad. I know we haven't gotten there yet, but it says like
Thorny Toad, a 2-mana 1/4. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like toss 2, and then the other part doesn't matter. But basically, so you're adding 3 triggers there.
Right.
The unit is dying, and you're tossing 2.
Yeah.
Like maybe something like that. I almost feel like unless they add a bunch of really good toss cards,
right,
more than likely you can get this trigger off of playing like the make 3/1/1s for 2 mana card and stuff like that, or like a shark, because shark dies every single turn.
Right.
I don't know. But I think if you can play units that also toss, those are probably going to be the best for it.
Yeah. His signature spell, or again, I'm assuming this is a signature spell, is Sap Magic, 3-mana burst, toss 3, and then heal allies 3. So, I mean, the cards, we can go, I guess, over the rest of the cards. We already talked about Thorny Toad, Dead Bloom Wanderer, 3-mana, 3/2 lifesteal. When I'm summoned, toss 3. And then Overgrown Snapvine. When you summon a follower, kill it to summon an Overgrown Snapvine. It's a 7-mana 4/3. So that card doesn't really fit in the theme of tossing, but does turn all of your saplings into 4/3s that don't have ephemeral instead. So that's good.
Right, and there's this like infinite stack, so you play like 1, it's a 4/3, and then you summon a sapling, it makes a second 4/3, and then your next sapling summons like 2 4/3s because you kill. Oh no, because I guess you can only.
Maokai's only the first time you play an ally each round.
Well, no, I was talking about the Overgrown Snapvine, but I guess you only kill the unit once, right? So you
kill it to summon it.
Yeah.
I
was wondering if it was like exponential, where every unit summons like even more Snapvines.
No, I don't think so.
Then you're just playing 7-mana 4/3.
Yeah, 7-mana 4/3. I mean, it's like the build around, like you play that, and then you play the 2-mana make 3/1/1 ephemerals, except now it makes 3 4/3s that don't have ephemeral, which is, I mean, it's expensive and probably not playable, but it's cool for sure.
Definitely cool. I think this deck looks very cool and fun.
Yeah. What do you think, Saucy? Is it?
I think it's really cool.
Is it actually good?
I want it to be. I don't think it is. It's really, 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 really slow. It's like probably the slowest mechanic we've seen so far.
Yeah.
And the thing is, right now decks are they can be pretty fast.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you're just gonna die to Bannerman if you're playing this. So I don't know. I think it's really sweet though.
But I mean, like, think about this: playing Maokai instead of playing like Ledros or something. Like,
yeah,
Ledros, although, man, you don't have to do any work for Ledros. I don't know.
Isn't this kind of just like a worse She Who Wonders because you want your units to die, but She Who Wonders just ends the game on like turn 7?
Oh, you mean They Who Endure?
Yeah, They Who Endure.
Yeah, that's also true. I mean,
what I do want to do with this is I want to play this with Teemo and obliterate their deck and then fill it with puff caps.
That sounds insane.
So instead
when I
of
first saw the toss, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
a good idea.
It's a great idea. Yeah, that's true. That is a good idea. Yeah, I mean, I think it really just depends on how quickly you can actually get the 25 trigger. Because again, you don't need to have Maokai out and then see 25 things. It's like Yasuo and Ezreal and Sedge. So it's just like,
it'd be unplayable otherwise.
Oh yeah, it'd be horrific. So
it's possible. I think with any, especially if we get any other support for it, it could actually be pretty good. But if this is all the support, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, you play it. Yeah, it literally is going to depend on like the because like playing Maokai and like spiders, like that's actually kind of interesting because like you play you know, you're playing a bunch of spiders that are going to trade off, kind of like a They Who Endure. But this is like maybe a worse They Who Endure, but also like gives you more control. You can play this earlier, like you're playing spiders and also you're getting a 2/1 sapling to actually like contest the board a little bit, like playing Maokai as his own thing. And then you have the win con of Maokai just in general. So I don't know. I think it's interesting. I hope he's playable because I think he's one of the more unique champions right now.
He's sweet.
Oh, yeah.
He's definitely sweet as hell, which is cool.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, one of my favorite mechanics in Magic was dredge. So I love the whole idea of like, oh, it's a downside, you're milling your own deck. But another thing to think about too is when it obliterates the card, they're non-champions. So if that ever is relevant, like if you're using it for a way to get to a specific champion, that could matter.
Well, it goes off the bottom of your deck, right? So you can't
It doesn't help you stack your deck, but if you can like obliterate your whole deck except for champions, then you just like keep, like if you just had like Maokai Karma and just kept generating, like playing Karma's leveled up Karma over and over and over again, you can keep doing that.
Yeah.
But
that's funny. When I first saw the toss mechanic, I was really hoping it was mill, like not self mill, but like
milling them,
actual mill.
Yeah, I was excited.
I'm kind of a little bit sad that they made toss specifically your deck and not like toss your opponent's deck or toss your opponent or toss you. It also, I don't know, tossed, it's kind of weird. Like it just seems like a weird word to use, right? Like,
is there like they can use the word like mill, right? Because
they don't need
plan on actually putting it in.
Right. They could, but like I don't know what I mean. I feel like there's better words like toss like, oh, I tossed it in the garbage. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just don't know.
Maybe discard or something, like discard 2.
Well, it's
the top of your deck.
It's because Maokai in League doesn't have the sapling toss. Isn't that the thing that he has?
Okay.
He tosses saplings around. That's
but that. So I would get that the toss would be like his sapling being generated, but like Thorny Toad doesn't have anything to do with saplings. So I don't know.
He does now.
Yeah. Also, his level up animation looks sweet. It's a little sapling going over and running on top of their deck. It's awesome. Overall, I kind of here's the problem is that in one part of me hopes that he's good, but the other part of me knows that if he is good, he's probably broken.
Yeah,
so maybe I don't want him to be good, but I mean, I would also be the one playing that deck. So
that's how I feel about so many cards. I'm like, man, this card looks so sick. This card looks so has so much potential.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I would never want this card to be good because I don't think this card can ever be not broken.
Right.
Yeah.
Basically, like Rekindler. Like I don't think Rekindler can ever be not broken, but also not just trash.
Yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards like that.
He's a very interesting designed card. And I would.
He is sweet. I love it.
He's really sweet. He looks cool. Just everything about him is awesome. And I mean, these cards. Those saplings look like Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. So it's like one of my favorite things. So overall, huge fan of Maokai and the toss mechanic and stuff. And I hope it's like tier 2, even though I think it's very hard for that to be the case.
He's probably a day 1 craft for me.
Oh, I mean, not only because I have 52k shards, but also because I want him anyway.
What are you guys gonna do with your like 50,000, 100,000 shards? I'm sure you guys probably have at least 20 wild cards. You probably own every single card in the game.
I have a lot.
I have a lot of wild cards, and I literally have 52,000 shards. I don't know. I kind of want to just keep that number going and just see what I can get, and I'll just craft any deck that comes out. I'll just craft it at will.
Are you gonna wait for good decks, or are you gonna saucy? You're just gonna turn up on day 1.
Well, wild. I'm going
to spend all my currency.
I'm gonna turn up on day 1, but I'm not gonna be the brewer. I'm gonna be like, ooh, this deck looks good, and then it probably won't be, but I'm gonna build it. So.
I'm just gonna message Saucy and be like, "Hey, I need content. What do you have? What do you have?"
I was the Snapcraft Teemo. Let's go.
True. That is we have that documented. That happened, and then the next week, Mogwai made it a deck, and it became a thing. But
and then it was good.
Yeah, true. Arguably, still could be.
What's the best Teemo deck? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's Teemo. It's Teemo Draven.
Teemo Draven. I played Teemo Wayfinder. It's not good, but it's fun.
Actually, I've been playing Teemo Karina. Yep. Instead of Elise, I'm just running Teemo.
I mean, I don't hate it.
It's not terrible.
I played against a guy one time that played Teemo, and then he would play scribes and then miscalls and then rekindlers.
Yeah.
Just keep putting Teemos onto the field. That was pretty
funny.
Whenever they thermogenic beam your Teemo for 8 and then you just scribe it back, that feels so good.
That's funny. That's awesome. But that is going to be it for the new cards. We got the tease of Noxus, and there's some floating rumors out there that Swain is the next champion. Apparently got leaked, but we'll talk about that when it gets officially revealed. Just because maybe it's, I don't know if I personally don't know if it's real or fake, and whatever. We'll just wait till it comes out with all the other cards because we'll be talking about those anyway. So that is going to be it for our regularly scheduled show here. Mo, thank you for coming on the show and hanging out with us.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
It's nice getting to talk with you guys. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
A lot of fun.
I kind of felt left out, though. I don't have a beard.
It's okay. You'll
next time.
Next time you'll get it.
No. Next life.
No, next time you're on the show, we expect you to have a beard.
Yeah. Or, just paint one on. Mo, Mo, where can people find you on the internet when you're not here hanging out on Runeterrable Radio?
On Twitch and YouTube and Discord, it's all just twitch.tv/emotional, but MOE for emotional. Because my name is Mo.
I like it.
Like emotional.
Yeah, it's like it's emotional, but it's like MOE.
Yeah.
And then channel.
I like it. Saucy, where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah. I'm just Saucy Mailman everywhere. Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify. I don't know. I always say those like they matter. I'm on Runeterrable Radio, Discord constantly, all day, every day.
True.
Chatting it up about dumb shit.
We are there. And that, of course, is discord.me/Runeterrable Radio. You can go to @Runeterrable on Twitter. You can go to DeckPics.Live. Send us your deck picks. We want to see them. But definitely Discord is the best place to find any of us. You can find me on Twitter @the_Blevins if you want. But just go to the Discord. That's the best place to be. Everything is collected there, and the community is amazing. Gotta say that. But that is going to be it for this 20th episode of Runeterrable. We're no longer teenagers. We're entering our 20s here. But that's going to be it. Thank you, everyone who listened in live, everyone who's listening off in podcast land. But for Saucy, for Mo, I am Blevins, and we'll catch you guys next week talking about more Legends of Runeterra content.